Good afternoon. We're going to talk a little bit here about Ravin bows. This is a R9 model, and this will apply to all models except I can't speak for the R26, the R500, and the R18, but the R26 works similar. Its wingspan is a little shorter. This bow has been let down the way you see it in the camera right now. Okay. Now, here's a Ravin press, and some people may be wondering, well, why did they make that thing so long? Well, this is why right here, okay? This is a very deceptive setup when you look at it, okay? Now, I'm going to measure across here, outside the cam to the outside of the cam, pretty close to 21.5 inches, okay? And why I'm showing you this is when you're cocking one of these bows, some people likes to stand one foot behind the other, and you got the bow down here, and this foot's over here where this cam could come loose. Cable break, string, okay? When you got this bow in a tree stand, blind, if something goes wrong, you got a whole lot longer wingspan there than what you might realize, okay? Remember, the bows are actually 10 uncocked, 6 cocked. Most of them, except for the R26, it's a little narrower. So when, just be mindful if you've got this bow, you don't want this laying up here around your body or in a blind sitting down here like this, and if that cable and string breaks, it'll come over here and catch you on the foot or the leg. Okay. So now I'm going to string this thing back up. Some people may be a little apprehensive about letting their bows down. If you do decide to let your bow down, you'll see these things right here. You don't want to lose these. These are what these limbs pivot on when she's shot and when she's cocked. Okay, and they fit in these. There's 4 of them, 1, 2, and there's 2 on the bottom. I recommend you clean these up and clean out these pockets here with some alcohol before you put your bow back together, because these things did have some grease on them. I'm going to put some silicone grease back on them when I reinstall them. Okay, now how do they go back in? Well, they'll go in 2 different ways. When you look at your bow from top and bottom, this flange right here you should not see. So if you see that right there, that's wrong. It goes in where these flanges are against this other flange that's in this pocket here. So you'll have one on each side against that flange. So when you look at your bow, what you should see is that part from the top and the bottom. Okay? It's not a hard deal. Just when you go to put this thing back together, just take your time and watch everything to make sure it, nothing gets in a bind. And if you get in a hurry taking one of these bows down, especially outside, you could lose one of these. So just be mindful. There's 4 of them. I don't know what kind of grease Ravin used on these, but I don't believe this silicone grease should be fine, I think. There's not a lot of movement on these. There is some pressure on them though. There ain't no doubt about that. I hope you enjoyed the video. I went ahead and put this thing on together. That silicone grease in there, what it will do is it will help hold these in position, but I'm going to warn you, one of mine didn't want to stay. So you'll have this press in upside down. You'll want to monitor when these limbs gets ready to hit this gap right here. You'll want to watch to make sure you've got these half moons all the way up in there, especially the ones on the bottom that you can't see. You can monitor these on the top pretty good, okay? But you'll be wanting to watch here to make sure you don't have any limb binding on anything in here. Now, I didn't loosen these screws right here when I took this bow down, so that might make this easier. If you loosen them, I don't know if there's any alignment issues you run into or not. So all I did is took the string cables off, let the bow all the way out, and took these half moons out because they get loose because they ain't got no limb pressure holding them in. Hope you enjoyed.